Yesterday I talked about the olive tree and how the root of the cultivated olive tree never dies naturally. And the root represents God and His kingdom. And we are, hopefully, fruit-bearing branches connected to that root. Today I would like to draw a spiritual lesson from the olive itself. What the olive must go through to be useful. For the olive to be eatable, it has to go through a lengthy process, which includes washing, breaking, soaking, sometimes salting, and waiting some more. It's a lengthy process. And why? It's so that it can be cured of bitterness. Now, if we are to escape the natural bitterness of the human heart, we have to go through a long process as well. The process of being cured. But not only is the olive bitter when it's picked right off the tree, but it's also hard. If you're harvesting olives for oil, you need to pray for a soaking rain to come if you hope to get oil from the olives. It needs a hard rain of at least 2 to 3 hours so that water can make it all the way up to the roots, through the tree and to the olives. And then the olives can be picked and preserved. And the best way to preserve an olive for the long run, how is that done? Well, you crush it and extract the oil from it. And the same is true for us. The biblical way to be preserved is to be pressed. And being pressed can certainly feel like being crushed. But what about a verse in 2 Corinthians 4, it's verse 8, where it says, "We are pressed but not crushed." Let's read the same verse in the King James Version, and also verse 9. It says, "We are troubled on every side, yet not distressed. We are perplexed, but not in despair. Persecuted, but not forsaken. Cast down, but not destroyed." You know, the good news is that the crushing isn't the olive's end. Crushing is the way of preservation for the olive. It's also the way to get what's most valuable, the oil, out of the olive. Keeping this perspective is how we can be troubled on every side, yet not distressed. Pressed to the point of being crushed, but not crushed and destroyed. Here's what I need to remember. When I experience the sorrows of life, I easily forget that they are necessary. When I am being processed, I forget that it's for the sake of ridding me of bitterness. And when I'm being crushed, I forget that it's for the sake of my preservation. I forget all these things so easily. I wrestle and I cry and honestly want to resist every bit of this. You know, it's so easy to forget. And maybe God knew we all would forget. And so He created the olive tree. This is just a thought, and I'm Birger Draget, pastor of Three Angels and Newton's Seventh-day Adventist churches here in Wichita or in South Central Kansas. Have a blessed day.